What's up, everybody? We're the Supernaturals. I'm Cal. That's Jake.
I thought you were going to be like, what's up, guys?
No, I'm not doing What's up, guys? No,
I was honestly ready for it.
no. So today,
We're back.
yeah, we're back. Jake was a little sick for a little bit.
Yeah, I was unfortunate. I went on a vacation and came back with the vid. So
Yeah,
I was put down for a few days, but
we're back.
we are back.
We're back, baby. So for you guys, it wasn't a
Yeah, you'll have no idea
You
because
have
nothing
no
changes for
idea.
you.
other than the new studio, which you saw in the prior episode.
True. We changed the lights today.
Yeah, we're probably gonna change them every episode. It's kind of cool.
For our audio listeners out there, they are red today.
Yeah. So just if you're listening, just imagine a red sense of something.
Bloody.
Yeah. It's not really, we're not really talking about like murders or anything today. Well, kind of, but
Kind of.
picture a big red nose. Or maybe Ronald McDonald's hair. Or maybe, I actually don't like that.
No.
But the point is, anything red and has to do with clowns, picture that.
And there you go.
Because we're talking about clowns.
Clowns, baby.
Insert the honking.
That was my best attempt there.
It sounded more like a bed frame, but
Shit, not my bed.
yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about one of Hoarder's creepiest and most famous devices today.
And how they became a
Pretty
huge
much.
horror icon.
Yeah.
You know?
Creepy ass fucking clowns. So,
It's that fucking clown. I hate fucking clowns.
yeah. So, I mean, basically what we're going to do for today. Well, first I want to ask, what do you think about clowns? Are you afraid of clowns? Are you like Jesse Eisenberg in Zombieland? Are you afraid of clowns?
I hope you got the reference I was making.
Yes, I know. That's why I said it. That's why, yeah.
I was just making sure because you kind of glossed over it pretty quickly. And
well,
I was like,
I-
did you get it?
Yeah, and that's when I
okay.
Go ahead.
We're on the same page here, I think. No, I'm not like him. I actually am not afraid of clowns.
Yeah.
I think they're more funny than anything. I think that's due to haunted houses, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
They've just kind of put it in my head that they're not scary and I laugh at them more than fear them.
Yeah.
I've just never found them creepy. Like, people behind the mask can be creepy, but not the clown itself.
I do think the haunted house section with all the clowns, usually when you go to a haunted house, if you guys have gone to haunted houses, you probably know what I'm talking about. There's always like a fun house section.
Fun house.
Yeah. With all like black lights or whatever. Those
Crazy mirrors.
What was the one that we just did where we had to put on those 3D glasses in the fun house? That was cool.
Wasn't that the one up in like Thornton?
Oh, that was the Haunted Field of Screams. And they
Very
had
good haunted house, by the way.
Shout out Haunted Field of Screams.
This year was amazing.
If you live in Aurora or anywhere in Colorado, pretty much take a trip, head over there. It's super fun.
At least last year.
Yeah.
Now we have seen them be not as great,
That's true.
but
yeah.
they really put the nail on that one this year.
Yeah, it was super fun.
The wagon ride was crazy.
Yeah, that was really cool. Really cool idea. But there was a fun house section where they had black light and stuff all over the place, and they gave you little glasses, and you put them on, and it just made it like trippy as hell. You know, it was like coming at you.
It was really cool.
Yeah. So
I think one thing I also want to add here is I don't find that section scary, specifically in that house, to be frank with you.
I think it's cool.
It's very lit up, and that doesn't scare me. Darkness scares me. If I can't see shit and people are fucking touching me and shit, nah, that's not for me.
Yeah.
But like when I can see people in there and the clown's just like staring at you at the end of the hall, it doesn't really like make me shake, unfortunately.
No, that's fair.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm one person.
Yeah. No, I totally get you.
But you're also a different person. So what are your thoughts?
So,
because you obviously love clowns. You have favorite movies with clowns.
I do have a favorite. I mean, my favorite horror icon. I'll talk about him later, but it is a clown.
But to me, from the outside, it doesn't seem like you're scared of them.
No, absolutely
Right, yeah.
not. I root for him. Well, not in the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah. More
Choose
on
your
that
words.
later.
Choose your words more wisely there.
Yeah, I don't know. I think so. When I was a kid, I was afraid of clowns. And the reason why, though, I wasn't ever like afraid of, Ronald McDonald or whatever. It was just more of like, okay, yeah, it's a dude, it's a clown. Like clowns were not really scary for me. But so I do have my nanny when I was like a kid and I was still living in California.
Yeah.
Marlene, if you're listening, shout out Marlene.
Shout out Marlene.
Well,
don't know her, but she sounds cool.
dude, she's like my other grandma. She's awesome.
Well, hell yeah. Shout out Marlene.
I love Marlene.
Hope you're listening.
Love you, Marlene. Anyway, she has this one room that I had to stay in all the time. She loves clowns. Like absolutely loves clowns.
Hanging posters in her house, clowns.
Brother, she has a room that is full of clown paintings and not all of them are happy. And it's like, I would go to bed. She lived in like the suburbs too. So you got like the street light shining through. I remember one time I woke up in the middle of the night
shining on the wall,
and I would look up and literally it was like 3 a.m. and I'm just looking at all of these clowns. And there was one that was like frowning and it looked like he was looking right at me. And I was just, I was not into that. And then I straight up think that scared me from like clowns for a while.
As a kid, I can totally agree. My grandma had a similar room, but there were dolls in there.
Oh, God.
Dolls, dude. Dolls everywhere. Those, what are they, porcelain?
Yeah, I think I'd rather take the clown room than the doll room. No offense.
Dude, their eyes, would open and close based off of how you hold them. Nah, not for me.
Some Annabelle shit. Yeah.
But, like, I totally get that. Like, it's pretty engraved in your head that as a child, seeing that stuff on the wall is not fun.
Yeah.
Especially at 3 a.m.
Yeah. And being a kid, it's just, and so I don't know, somewhere along the line though, I just kind of stopped being afraid of clowns.
You grew up, you became an adult. Like,
yeah.
You start becoming less and less scared of stuff.
No, I mean, I get that, but it's also, yeah, I guess that's true. I can't really tell you like one thing I'm afraid of, like an animal or some shit. I mean, it's just really water for me. It's just the deep, murky water. That's pretty much is the only thing that gets me. But I mean, it's, I go to a swimming pool and if I can see the bottom, I'm fine. I think it's just, I watched Friday the 13th growing up too much and Jason pulling me under is just in my head. So, I don't know.
Scarred for life.
Yeah. But the clowns didn't stick, that didn't stay. But I think the thing that really made me actually like clowns was high school. Raka Raka came out with the Ronald McDonald video.
Oh yeah.
And if you guys don't know, so Raka Raka,
go look it up.
Please go look it up. They're now the directors of Talk to Me. There's some A24 directors. It's 2 brothers, 2 twins, Michael and Danny. And, we've talked about them on the pod before, but
you have.
They had they had a few videos where one of them would be dressed up as Ronald McDonald and he had this super high pitched voice and he would just like kill a bunch of people. Now that sounds super fucked up, but it was
a comedy sketch.
Yeah, it was comedy. And the way that they filmed it was just so funny. Dude, there's one where his sister, I think Daisy McDonald, goes to Burger King and he sees that and he walks out and he goes, "That big slut." Walks over there and he just starts like just beating the shit out of her. Again, if you haven't seen it, it probably sounds super effed up, but if you go watch it, it's quite funny.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's very, 2014, like YouTube comedy, but it is so funny. So I think that, kind of solidified, I guess I'm not afraid of clowns, I guess.
The amusement in them.
Yeah. 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 It's more, I don't know. I don't really find them scary. It's also like, I mean, have you ever seen a clown that's over like 6 feet tall? Because I haven't.
No.
And I'm not really afraid of things that are short.
How tall was Ronald McDonald?
Bro, that dude's got to be like 5'8".
You think they made them that small?
Bro, I don't know. Yeah, it was in like the 50s. People were smaller back then. They were
true.
actually like shorter. And I don't know if it was the 50s. No, what was it? It was the 60s. So still, I mean, people were shorter back then. I know that. So he's definitely not 6'7".
Yeah, but with all the craze, Ronald McDonald remained a clown, never changed. With horror becoming that, it was still a happy clown for McDonald's.
It's true. Yeah. And then I know for a while people were afraid of Grimace. Why, I don't know, but they were.
See, I would take the Hamburglar over Grimace.
The weird thing about the Hamburglar is that they're like, I know it's burgers, but they're like low key pushing being a burglar.
I know. Well,
Like,
he
hey,
steals them.
burgle some fucking
And he
hamburgers.
wears like, he's wearing like an old school jail outfit.
Yeah, I think if anybody's problematic, it's probably him. Yeah. So anyway, I would say no. I'm not afraid of clowns like at all. I do like certain ones though. Again, talk about that in a second.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, you guys might know, but clowns were not always scary. You know, they weren't horror. They were
jolly. They were fun.
Well, I'll get to that in a second. But yes, for the most part, they did bring joy. They brought laughs.
They were supposed to bring joy.
Some of them, yeah. Yeah, some of them were definitely supposed to. So I'm going to just kind of run through a little bit of the history of clowns. So believe it or not, clowns actually stem all the way back from ancient Greece.
Were they supposed to be like jesters for kings and stuff like that?
So they were actors for plays.
Okay.
And they would usually just paint their face. So
one thing about painting your face, though, that I think personally is based on how you paint it is how the clown is perceived, happy or sad, which makes a huge difference.
It does.
Right?
That's a good point, because that's the point is during their plays, a lot of times they wouldn't be able to talk.
Mm-hmm.
So they would have to display the emotion through paint on the face.
Is that how mimes came into play?
I would imagine.
Yeah.
I didn't look up mimes.
Well,
Sorry.
You know, like the happy, sad, like faces of drama.
Yeah.
That like reminds me of clowns. So it makes sense that it stems from there.
Yeah. So other civilizations also have proof that clowns, or proof of clowns existing. We have China, Africa, Egypt, and a bunch of others.
Interesting.
Yeah. So they didn't just come from one place, definitively.
All around the globe. Yeah.
They were found in some way, shape, or form in almost every civilization, ancient civilization. They said even one Native American tribe, the Hopi, they have proof of a clown-like performer.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. That's kind of wild.
Right? So it wasn't until the 17th century where clowns started to wear their bright clothes, bright face painting, and pretty much became the, performers that we know now. So, and then in the early 1900s, England brought their circuses over to the United States, and clowns actually became huge over here in entertainment. And then in the 50s, in the circus,
or just in general, like when did clowns come into like rodeos?
I think it would probably be around the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's, they brought the circuses over in the early 1900s, and then basically, I mean, they kind of just popped off. And so they kind of showed up everywhere. There were certain clown acts, like solo clown acts that would, start up and stuff. And I think, the rodeo, I didn't look up rodeo clowns, but I imagine it's somewhere in there, because in the 1950s, they started to show up on TV.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, I think you've probably heard of this one, but a big clown for children's TV shows was Bozo the Clown.
Mm-hmm.
You know Bozo?
Yep.
And he actually showed up on multiple children's shows. So imagine like we're watching iCarly and Bozo the Clown shows up and you're like, oh shit, Bozo. And
Just
then you're watching like
episode.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you're watching like SpongeBob and Bozo the Clown shows up in like 2D form. Like that's kind of, he would like hop around like different shows and shit. So that's kind of cool.
Big pop culture icon at that moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then obviously in the 60s, Ronald McDonald, was established as the McDonald's mascot.
The face of McDonald's.
And he's there still now. So that's cool.
Well, they made TV shows about him for children for a little bit. Mm-hmm. If you have ever seen The Wacky Adventures of Ronald McDonald.
What the fuck are you talking about? Dude, that's a thing?
Yeah, it's a real thing. It's just like children's cartoons that I used to watch on VHS at my grandma's house.
Seriously?
Yeah, dude, they're that old. Like they were pretty good. You can find them on YouTube now, I think.
I don't think I want to look that up.
It's a little weird, but I know.
Did they talk?
Back then? Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Did he talk like how Raka talks? Or
No.
Okay.
No, he
Wait,
was
so
like
then was
playful.
it more of like a deep...
No, it was a playful talk.
Hello, children.
No, definitely like it was playful.
Oh.
But it started out, because it was weird. It started out as like a human dressed up as Ronald McDonald, and he'd go with his dog. They'd do this intro thing, and then they'd like jump through a tube and then become like animated.
What in the Blues Clues? Holy shit.
No, I'm serious.
Really?
Yeah. The show
Okay.
was kind of wild, but
all right. Was the Hamburglar in that?
yep. The Hamburglar,
Grimace.
the Grimace,
There's
the
another
bird,
one.
Birdie, or whatever her name is. I think that's her name. Don't quote me on that. I think it's Birdie.
Okay, well, I guess Jake's knowledge on Ronald McDonald's is unmatched, everybody. Holy shit.
I used to watch this show as a kid, so it just kind of stuck with me.
Fair enough.
There wasn't a lot to do at my grandma's house. There was no internet, no DVDs back then. There
You
was
just have
VHS
like little action
films.
figures or something. Dude, I was always playing with action
No,
figures.
we either threw the football outside or watched VHS tapes.
Fair enough, man. I think my VHS tapes was like, I got Star Wars, obviously, still loving Star Wars. And then I had like Matilda.
Did you have Rugrats?
I did have Rugrats, yeah. Yeah.
Dude, when they go to Paris, that one was off the charts.
Yeah. Yeah. Or
Anyway.
the Africa one, the Safari or whatever. That one was
Wait,
great.
was that Rugrats or was that
That was Rugrats.
the Wild Thornberries?
Oh shit! Was
Yeah.
that the Wild Thornberries?
I thought that was
Which
the
is
Wild
the one with the
Thornberries.
little like?
That's
that
the
guy.
Wild Thornberries.
Is it really?
yeah.
Oh shit! Damn. The Wild Thornberries. I totally thought that was fucking Rugrats. But yeah, it's he's got the dad with the fucking like buck teeth. And
Yeah,
that's
that's
shit.
the Wild Thornberries.
I haven't heard of the Wild Thornberries in like probably 15 years.
Yeah, but
God
know, going back to the whole VHS Ronald McDonald, it exists. It's still around today, but that's like where it kind of stopped. I don't think anything else was made from that.
Yeah.
It just kind of stopped. I don't know if it never caught on.
I think entertainment probably just, it changed,
Well, SpongeBob's been going forever, and
SpongeBob is a lot better than a clown.
I don't disagree. I'm just saying it's been going for 20 plus years.
Yeah, but SpongeBob's the shit. Okay. SpongeBob's the shit.
Tom Kenny's still the voice?
Yeah. They're all still the voice. I think the new movie's coming out too.
Really?
I haven't seen any of the movies that have come out other than the first one with King Neptune and all that. Bro, I love that movie. That shit is so funny. He sings the I'm a goofy goober rock at the end.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. I do.
Goated ass movie. I used to watch that shit with my ex.
Bad times.
No, dude, I'm not gonna. That shit was so fun. We would just sit there and watch fucking SpongeBob.
But yeah, no, Ronald McDonald's been a staple though for McDonald's for a long time.
Yeah. We'll talk about the time that he was forced to go into hibernation though, in a little bit.
Oh,
Ooh.
Someone went to sleep.
Stay tuned.
He got a big time nap.
So, however, if you guys listen to the last episode, in the 70s, a man named John Wayne Gacy was known as the Killer Clown.
Dun dun dun.
Yes. And so that actually started to put a pretty dark spin on clowns and pop culture. And we know that because in the 80s, Poltergeist came out and that had a creepy little clown in there. And then obviously the It miniseries came out and that pretty much solidified clowns as a horror item.
Was the miniseries, that was the movie, quote unquote, right?
Like if we watch it now, it's a movie.
Right.
Yeah.
But when did he write the book? Do you know?
I think it was
Roughly close to the same time?
yeah, I'm pretty sure it was only a few years before that he wrote the book.
Okay. I'm just curious on how long it took for it to actually like pick up and become something.
Yeah. I don't know, but I do know that the movie itself though, or the miniseries, when it came out, people lost their minds. Like it was,
What was
shit, clowns are.
Next biggest thing at that time.
Yeah. And I think, what's his name, who played Pennywise in that one? Tim Curry was his name. And he was, I mean, dude, he killed that role.
He did.
He killed that role. I mean, Bill Skarsgård, our Pennywise, was pretty good, but Tim Curry was like next level.
You know, I'm excited to
See you
see.
in your dreams.
I'm excited to see the new TV show they're spawning off of it as well.
Welcome to Derry.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's coming back for that.
He is,
Yeah.
which is pretty exciting that you get the same actor.
Well, they left
as the
some
movies.
They left some shit out of the movies for sure. I mean, I know they said they were gonna go back to some of it, like part of it. They had I guess Pennywise has been around for a really long time.
But yeah, he comes back every 10 years or something.
Yeah, and I guess there's a part in the book. I can't remember. I read the book so long ago, but I read an article and they said that they were going to put this in part 2, but they took it away because it was too dark. But he would like lure pregnant women like into a spot and he would like eat them.
Really?
Yeah, in like a well or some shit. It was crazy.
I wonder if they'll add that to the show because the show's
I
supposed to be
don't know.
pretty dark.
But it is, yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. I'm hoping for.
I love a good origin story though.
So it 2017, I did like.
It was
I did.
good. It was good.
But was it 2019 or 2020 or whatever when it came out? The part 2? What was it the year
A
after?
couple years later.
That one I was kind of mid on. I thought the acting was great by everybody, but I just thought it was just I don't know.
It was just so much better with the kids in the first one, I think.
Yeah.
The whole time,
Yeah.
The whole story is about them experiencing all of this. Whereas the second one is a back and forth flash of old and young.
I don't think that's what I minded. You know what I think it was?
Took
I
it
think
out
it
for
was,
me, at least.
I really hate bad CGI. And
Fair.
I think it had really bad CGI. Certain spots were like horribly bad CGI.
I mean, the 2017 version had some pretty bad CGI too, though.
Yeah, but it wasn't like, it at least was like kind of in the cover of dark.
Yeah.
That's my biggest gripe, I think, with movies nowadays is when you have bad CGI or like when you have.
Put it in the shadows.
You need to put it in the dark, man.
Yeah.
If you have it in the daytime, you have to create a full model. Like
Yeah.
every little detail is going to be shown.
Right.
That is
That's
so
true.
much more expensive, and therefore it's going to look like dog shit.
Well, yeah, you got to make shadows for it. You got to do all of the crazy stuff with
Exactly.
lighting for it. Whereas if it's
Exactly.
in the darkness, you could show maybe a eighth of its head.
Yeah, and then you put all of your fucking money into that eighth of its head, and it looks fantastic.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. The one scene in chapter 2 or whatever when the Finn Wolfhard or whatever his character,
Mm-hmm.
like with the glasses.
Is that the dude from Stranger Things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he looks up and there's like a big lumberjack like statue, and the statue like comes alive.
Mm-hmm.
That shit just looks so fake. I was like, bro, come on. It's just not even fair. So anyway,
Think about it like this, though.
what,
2017 was like 7 years ago.
bro, I don't want to think about that. That was my first year of college. I feel like I just accepted college applications or my scholarship or whatever to Pueblo literally yesterday.
I don't feel that. My 10-year reunion's coming up.
Jesus Christ. I don't ever want to be there. I have to pay for my own insurance this year.
Welcome to that life.
Yeah,
man.
I know. It's pretty tough. So, another clown at this time was kind of on the rise. And he actually started in 1940 in a comic.
So 20 years or 30 years prior.
Yes. However, he also still wasn't like the dark clown that we know him as today. He was a little bit more lighthearted because comics were pretty
Right.
lighthearted at the time. And obviously his image has shifted drastically. And I'm a huge DC fan. I love DC. So the Joker came into play with the little Batman. Yeah, that was in 1940, and then his image shifted, and it actually started to become really the Joker that we know in Batman the Animated Series in the 90s. That was when I think it was Mark Hamill played the Joker. You know Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker?
Mm-hmm.
He voices the Joker in a lot of shit, actually. The
In
Batman
the
Arkham
stuff,
games, yeah, the a couple of the animated movies and stuff, and he's awesome. So that was when the Joker kind of became, and then the comics started getting
Got
darker.
a pretty iconic voice, though. So.
Oh yeah. So the Joker ended up, you know, kind of being like a little playful guy for Batman to run around and chase and stuff. And then he ended up like, you know, there was one comic where he cut off his own face and then had to like put it back on, like staple it back on. There was another comic series, my personal favorite, where he kills one of Batman's Robins, Jason Todd, in like cold blood, just like plays with him and then beats the shit out of him with a crowbar. And then it actually creates a new superhero out of that. But
Interesting.
really is just super fucked up. And
This
then,
is a comic?
yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. The Red Hood. You know the Red Hood? Like the character, Red Hood? Yeah. So he becomes Red Hood because he gets brought back to life after the Joker beats the shit out of him. That storyline has been brought to life in a couple of things, including the Arkham games. You know, the Batman Arkham games.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was probably the best villain in those games.
It hasn't been a storyline in movies, though.
Nah, they did one in the Titans show, like live action show on Max, but it was okay, I guess, for what it was. But I still haven't even seen the 4th season because I'm just like, it was very CW-ish.
Gotcha. You always refer to that.
Yeah, because the CW, they always just
some of their shows are good.
I loved The Flash. Well, the first like 3 seasons of The Flash, and then it just gets to like, they keep their shows running too long. They always try to have like these big crazy CGI fights, and they just look like dog shit because I don't know. And they always are a little too like lighthearted for me. I like dark shit. So,
did you ever watch the show Gotham?
Yeah.
Did you like that?
Yeah, and their version of the Joker was pretty cool. It was the kid who plays Cal Kestis in the Star Wars Jedi games. Oh, he's the kid in the red-haired kid in Shameless.
Ian?
Yeah.
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 I love him.
Yeah, that's him. So
he's in a lot of things. You know, he was in Click.
Was he really?
He's the redhead kid neighbor, the dickhead little kid.
Really?
in Click.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Huh, didn't know that.
Little fun fact, but anyway. Interesting. It's kind of funny that they always are pulling from like.
Continue.
What was I saying?
Yeah, you said.
Oh, it's just crazy how they just are always linking like Star Wars characters to the Joker. It's just interesting.
What do you mean?
Like,
because Mark Hamill. Yeah.
You said him, and then you said the redhead kid was also a part of the You said Gotham, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the Joker in that.
And he was also in Star Wars, right? Isn't that what you said?
Yeah.
It's just interesting that those two link like that. Just kind of fascinates me.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But so the Joker, a pretty big deal, you know, for clowns and stuff. And but here's the thing, though, and this is why I kind of like stopped you when you were like, clowns are really joyous. So there was a book called Bad Clowns by Benjamin Radford. And he actually says in the book that clowns being considered good was actually an American creation. So clowns throughout history were supposed to be, quote, tricksters and more mysterious beings. It wasn't like you were supposed to know if they were good or bad and stuff. And they were basically meant to beg the question of whether the clown was going to make you laugh or attack you.
Jesus. Well, check your corners, everybody.
Apparently that was the point. So Radford also said that clown shows were actually meant for adults and not children.
I can see that, though.
Yeah, and they were actually supposed to be a sort of satire on social standards and a projection of fear for everyday people. Interesting, right?
Very. And I kind of like that thought better than just fun.
Yeah.
You know? It gives it a deeper meaning.
Yeah.
Which I think I like.
I agree. So, what other clowns, Jake? Well, we're going to talk about our favorite clowns here. Jake is going to go first.
I mean, you kind of already dove into yours a little bit, didn't you?
Well, no, mine isn't the Joker.
It's not?
He's up there, but...
Oh, I thought it was.
No, dude, it's somebody else.
Oh, all right.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, I, have said prior to this show, and will say many more times, because this movie series is just fantastic. I found it randomly rumbling through Shudder. Shudder is an amazing app. You should get it. This isn't an ad. This is just, you should get the app. It's like
But also,
$5
at
a
the same
month.
time, Shudder, please sponsor us. Go ahead.
True. Hell yeah. Love that shit. No, we try to find movies on there all the time. Anyway, off that little tangent of Shudder. Hell House LLC, one of my all-time favorite Halloween
Franchises.
/ haunted house franchise. Yep.
Yeah, Hell House 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I think there's 4.
Yeah.
I think there's Hell House 1, 2, 3, and Origins.
Then Origins, yeah.
And Origins was also really good.
I've only seen 2 of them.
I know.
I've seen
You've seen
1
that?
and Origins.
2 is good
But-
and 3 is very good.
All right.
But the acting in there is phenomenal. But they bring in this really, really creepy clown. I can't remember what the fuck they call it, but it is one of the scariest fucking things I've ever seen. And you know me, I'm not fucking scared of clowns.
Yeah.
But this motherfucker popped up in my dreams. He popped up in my fucking thoughts.
Yeah.
He is just in the video. We'll pop up a little picture of him.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Because dude, he freaks me the fuck out.
Yeah.
And he doesn't do anything. It's just a fucking mannequin.
Yeah.
And the use of it was brilliant. Moving it, being able to move its head. It was just.
It was good. I'm not going to lie to
And
you.
it was
creepy.
in all of them. It's in every single fucking one.
Yeah.
It's in 1, 2, 3, and Origins.
Yeah.
That fucking clown, dude.
Yeah.
I just love it. It's just like one of my all-time favorites. And I think it's because it gives me that kind of scary factor of it.
Yeah.
And I don't get that from anything else but that one.
That's, yeah.
It's just fucking creepy, dude.
I get that. I don't really, I agree it's creepy, but I don't get I'm not I guess at that tier with it, I also like to see the clowns, doing a little stabby,
Sure, it's a mannequin. It's not doing anything.
Well, it definitely catches
moves.
some bodies, but it's just the camera, because it's a found footage film, it
Yeah.
glitches out right at the end or some shit. But no, they're good movies for sure. I agree.
It's just one of my all-time favorites
Yeah.
in terms of just physical appearance. And
Yeah.
I think that's why I put it at the top of my list.
Well, the first one definitely was creepy with that clown. I'll give you that. The first one felt like a documentary, way more than a lot of found footage movies are.
Dude, it almost makes you feel like that movie's fucking real.
Yeah, no, it was good. And then the crazy event that, oh, I'm sorry. Spoiler. We haven't had one of those in a while.
I know.
The crazy event that happens at at the end, with
That they build up to.
yeah, and that was crazy.
So you want to know something interesting?
What?
That I actually just found out pretty recently?
What's up?
The creator of the movie or of the series, basically, he drew inspiration from Lake Mungo.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh shit! Lake Mungo was a found footage movie that we found.
Just atmospheric horror beyond belief.
And it builds up to one scare. It's the whole movie is super documentary, kind of like how Hell House is, but it builds up to one creepy ass face at the end of the movie.
Every time with these goddamn
shit.
faces at the end. Dude.
I know, dude. It was Lake Mungo was a good story. It was a little bit slow, but
It's definitely slow for viewers for sure.
that
But
build up at the end. That was
if you can get through the movie and
Yeah.
actually enjoy it for what it is,
Yeah.
it's a very solid film.
yeah.
But yeah, he drew inspiration from it, which makes sense because there's similar things that you can see in both movies.
The documentary style is good in both, for sure.
So technically, the trilogy of Hell House was supposed to be one movie.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm happy it wasn't. I mean, I haven't seen the other two, but the way that they ended the first one was pretty fucking stellar.
Dude, you need to see the second and third.
All right, I'll have to watch.
They're
the
really
other two.
good. Like,
yeah, no, I'll take your word for it. I'll have to.
Honestly, the third is such a good storyline.
Yeah. What's it called? Lake of Fire?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that has to do with the Abaddon Hotel or any of that, but hey,
It
guess I'll find out.
Deals with the owner of the hotel.
Oh, okay. Cool.
He's building a lake of fire.
Oh. All right. Fair enough.
Basically
fair enough.
hell, you know?
Yeah. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the movie's great. And yeah, that's my favorite clown. You know, the Joker's up there, especially Joaquin Phoenix's Joker.
Yeah.
That Joker is top tier for me.
I think Heath Ledger's, though, is good too, man.
He is.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
he's dead.
He didn't get to finish out his role.
Yeah.
Which was really unfortunate.
Yeah, it sucks.
But, you know, the parts of the movie he was in, he fucking was killing it.
Yeah. It's amazing every time I watch it. But yeah. So.
But yeah, no, those are my top two is Joaquin Phoenix's Joker at number 2 and the fucking Hell House clown, dude.
Fair enough.
Oh, shivers. Fucking that clown, dude.
My all-time favorite clown is not, he doesn't scare me, but I've followed him and his creator through.
Oh, fuck, I know who it is. Never mind.
Shut the fuck up. I've seen the short film that started everything. I've seen the first film that started everything. I was in the theater opening night when the second one was in theater, all 2.5 hours when he's fucking shit up.
I'm so stupid.
Ladies and gentlemen, Damian Leone's Art the fucking Clown.
I am dumb. Dude,
That's my boy.
I totally forgot about Art.
That's my boy right there. I fucking love Art the Clown.
What really gets you about Art?
So at first, he did kind of scare me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just like kind of love him. You know, I love him now.
I feel like I'm too comfy.
He's up with like Jason and shit for me. I mean, the guy is every movie is, you know, an 80s style slasher and so fucking awesome. And then he doesn't make a noise, like he doesn't make a sound.
True.
Right? He gets stabbed and he just like, or he has these little funny moments. And the first one, I laughed my ass off. It's like a super intense moment. And the final girl, who, by the way, dies, no, that's a spoiler. Anyway,
Spoiler!
She looks out of this like closet.
We're talking the first one, right?
Yeah. And Art is on a little tricycle that's way too small for him. And he's just going around in a circle with a big smile on his face. And he fucking eats shit. And that's like my favorite moment in that film. He just like hits some shit and he like falls over. Oh, it's so funny.
They kind of make him pretty realistic in terms of like just like klutziness too, though. It's just really funny.
It's true, yeah. It's like, you know, and so the first one, he's supposed to be a real guy.
Right.
The second one is they bring him back as like a demon.
Yeah, he's more supernatural.
Yeah, he's like possessed, I guess. And I actually like that. So,
well, yeah, because he dies.
In the first Terrifier, Damian, if you're listening, I didn't give a shit about the characters, which I think that was kind of the point. I just didn't really care.
He was just making a slasher.
Yeah.
Don't feel for the characters like the clown.
Exactly.
Killing,
I was
right?
rooting for the clown, which is awesome. And that's what I love. I mean, that's he was going for like an 80s style, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's like the most 80s slasher thing you can do is have me root for the killer to kill the fucking stupid ass characters. I love that. And I know you can write a good ass character, Damian, because in Terrifier 2, all I was doing was rooting for Sienna.
True.
Even Allie, though, and unfortunately, she got more fucked up than I've ever seen somebody get fucked up in a horror movie before. Holy shit. That was crazy.
And it makes me so excited for the new one.
Apparently, I was reading an article, dude. Apparently, people like on set were like sick of this one kill that he's trying to like outdo the last one. And you know, the first one, he had the one blonde girl and he like Art sawed her in half from the groin down. Yeah. That's a crazy kill. That's brutal as shit.
Mm-hmm.
But then Allie in the second one was I mean, brother, she got her eye slashed open. She got her back like ripped off. She got her scalp ripped off. I actually audibly in the theater went, "Oh fuck!" when she puts her hand up to like stop him, and he grabs like the fingers and just pulls them apart, and her whole arm like splits in half. Then to make matters worse, he takes fucking like salt and just like pours it on her to just make sure like she's feeling it. And he's laughing like the whole time, like silent laughing the whole time.
Silent laugh where he's like,
yeah. And it's just like, oh my God,
shit's
she's
next level.
getting absolutely destroyed. And then, yeah, after that, I think it's because he did a good job, Damian Leone, of making me like Allie, because as soon as Allie got fucked up like that, I was like, all right, Sienna, it's time to just kick the shit out of Art. And I mean, it was fun. I fucking love that.
But she doesn't do it right away. She does die.
Yeah, it's true. And then, yeah, some crazy mythos shit that I'm hoping that we figure out in the third movie, because she is coming back. Mm-hmm. So I hope we find a little bit more about her character, because I think her dad knows about Art and all this kind of stuff. And then it was like, you know, her mom gets her fucking head blasted by a fucking shotgun.
I know.
And then, oh yeah, every kill in that movie is just so brutal. It's so fun. Yeah, I don't know. If you like horror and you haven't seen Terrifier 2 or any of the Terrifiers, therefore, but Terrifier 2 is like top tier Art the Clown and shit. And it's a 2.5 hour awesome ride of just pure blood and guts and
super
strange
80s.
amount of heart, though.
Super 80s, too.
Yeah, but like the heart in that movie, Sienna and her brother and stuff, I cared about him. Yeah.
Is the brother coming back, you know?
I don't know. I just know that he hasn't really done. He showed us a little teaser trailer where it's like this little girl waking up for Christmas, because it's a Christmas movie now. And he wakes up, or she wakes up for Christmas, and she like goes downstairs, and in the middle of the night, there's just a guy, like it looks like Santa is like putting some presents out, and then she's like, Santa, and he turns around and it's fucking Art.
He's just that smile.
Yeah, and it's just like Terrifier 3, and I was like, hell yeah. And then they have a poster, which is pretty cool. It's pretty visceral. Art is my fucking boy. I love Art, so just watch that shit. But we need to talk about the craziest shit that happened to everybody in 2016. I was in high school at the time.
Before we do that,
What?
I do have a story from 1990
Oh, okay.
that was unsolved.
All right, go ahead.
So after the craze of kind of Killer Clowns and John Wayne Gacy and kind of the hype of it, people were dressing up around the world as clowns, right?
Uh-huh.
And apparently this lady, her doorbell rang, and she opened the door, and it was a clown face holding flowers and balloons and shotgun.
Oh.
Blew her away.
Oh, just randomly?
So what's crazy is they were trying to link the killing to the husband, because he had apparently been having an affair.
Okay.
And they were not able to pin it on him at all, but they were able to like see that he was in an affair with this other woman and like would do all these things to like get away from his wife, but they were never able to pin any murder on him, which is kind of weird. And it kind of just like is interesting, because we had this craze in 2016 of clowns.
Yeah, which we're going to talk about.
Right. But it's just crazy how many other killings like that predate those.
Yeah.
You know? And why was it hype in 2016?
Well, I'm going to explain that. So there was a beginning in 2016, and there was well, it's crazy because, I mean, we all know, we remember, right? I mean,
I remember.
I'm sure the viewers remember. It was the weirdest time to be alive, I would say. Like, yeah, COVID was crazy because the world stopped.
Mm-hmm.
But the weirdest thing was seeing a new video of a clown stalking people just randomly every day. And then there was that idea of like a clown purge and stuff on Halloween and all this crazy stuff. I mean, I'll talk a little bit about it more.
Was this before TikTok?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we had Vine then at the time. I remember watching vines on TikTok or on clowns and shit. It was crazy. So I remember one day I was just chilling in class, and all of a sudden they're like, we're on lockdown or lockout or whatever. And I was like, what the fuck? And they're like, yeah, our teachers told us, yeah, there's a clown literally right behind us in Falcon Park. I went to Highlands Ranch High School, and there's a park right behind us called Falcon Park. And I guess there was a clown just walking around broad daylight, just chilling. So they locked our school down for that shit. That's how like insane this shit got.
That's so crazy.
I know, right? I remember being like, what the fuck is going on? There's a clown outside and we're locking us down. Like, what? So there was a beginning. It all started in August of 2016. A clown was spotted on the streets of Green Bay, and the local police received frightening calls about a potential killer clown walking around in the nighttime. The clown ended up getting headlines from all over the country because it's a pretty weird sighting, right? A clown just walking around on the street. Mm-hmm. However, as it turns out, thanks to a Facebook post from one Adam Krause, the clown, dubbed as Gags, was prowling the streets as a marketing stunt for him who is creating a short horror film.
Pretty genius.
However,
got the hype up.
The mass hysteria spread like a raging wildfire. In October of 2016, clown sightings were occurring everywhere in the United States, 9 of the 13 territories and provinces in Canada, and 18 other countries. Fucking insane.
Do you have some of the other countries?
I know the UK was huge.
Okay, you want to know something that I actually found out?
What?
So back in 2014, this shit happened in the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah, I looked that up too. Yeah.
2014. Yeah. There was things like this going on.
It wasn't nearly as bad, but it was
But it like kind of started there as well.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's just in the US now.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Thanks
that it started off as a marketing play.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So, like you said, the strange thing is that clown sightings and 911 calls have actually occurred since the early 2000s. And
now, predating to the 90s.
Yep, but with the rise of social media, the events have become viral. And basically, after Gags got famous, pretty much everybody was doing it. So during the mass hysteria, clowns would pop up in very interesting settings, from suburban streets to rural cornfields to even schools. And then, obviously I told you guys the story of my school locking down. So here's a couple creepy sightings and calls that I've got here. I picked out. So in South Carolina, this was one of the first ones. Police got calls about numerous clowns attempting to lure children into the woods with candy and even money. And the kids didn't listen, but so they're fine. But it was still pretty frightening to hear. They're luring like people in. From what I saw, it was just the marketing. Like it was just they were trying to get viral for being a clown, and like they were
Facebook trying to ride the hype train.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But there were certain instances where they were trying to actually use the hype as a way to get this
like lure children.
Yeah. So in North Carolina, another clown was supposedly leading a child into the woods with happy jokes and candy, but fled the scene when police arrived. Some videos online showed the victim getting out of their car and actually chasing the clown and beating them up before leaving, which is something I 100% would have done. I would have been like, you fucking bitch, come here. And I would have beat his ass. Students at Michigan State and Pennsylvania State created mobs where they would hunt these clowns down. I couldn't find anything on whether they found them or not, but that's still pretty crazy. You just are like, yeah, son, what club are you joining? We're just the clown.
We're the clown hunters.
The clown hunters, yeah. Yeah,
What do you do? Oh, we just,
We're 0 hours.
We just go hunt down some clowns and fuck them up.
Yeah, pretty much. So, according to the New York Times...
my crossbow.
Unfortunately, according to the New York Times, only one death occurred during the hysteria. One death that occurred during that whole period. And it was a 16-year-old kid who was stabbed to death by a man in a clown mask.
Damn.
There was also supposed to be a so-called clown purge on Halloween night. I remember that. But the only result was that 20 people dressed in clown costumes attacked a Florida family, but fled before it got too violent.
Really?
Yeah. So what were the results of the whole hysteria? clowns, they had to be outlawed for a little bit. Ronald McDonald was put on hiatus. Clown costumes were banned in certain counties in the United States, including here in Denver, I know. And you were to be arrested if you were wearing a clown costume on Halloween in some counties. Professional clowns were also out of jobs, and that was actually kind of sad.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty upsetting.
Imagine that being your job and this crap comes along and all of a sudden you're just put out of work. Like, that would suck.
No, it's really sad, and you can actually look up some of the interviews from some of the professional clowns out there, and they lost a lot, man. They lost their main source of income. You couldn't even be a party clown during the time. You know what I mean? Like, if that's what you were doing, you couldn't do it. It was
tough days, for sure.
So now, if you're a clown, hopefully you're back in work. Hopefully you're not doing anything creepy or whatever. And hopefully you're bringing joy to a lot of people, you know?
Totally.
Otherwise, if you're not, you know, somebody's going to beat the shit out of you.
Get the fuck out of town.
Ronald McDonald is back. Seems like clowns are back to being their usual thing. So, I mean, hey.
Where the fuck is Clickety Chicken?
Yeah.
That mixed slut.
Jesus Christ, that one hurt. Oh, my God. Anyway.
That was high. Holy shit.
Holy fuck. Just to conclude,
what a fun episode, though.
Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed us talking about clowns a little bit. Clowns are, you know, they're famous for being spooky. They're, you know, yeah.
And we needed a little bit of lightheartedness after
the last few. Yeah.
You know,
I agree.
Lift the room a little bit.
Yeah. So,
you know, if you guys have any crazy clown stories, we'd love to hear them as well.
Yes. Please send them to
our fan mail.
That we now have running. Yeet.
It should be in our Instagram. We can throw it in the description.
YouTube as well. It should be on our YouTube. So,
but yeah, send us some of your thoughts, stories. We'd love to hear them.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's been a fun little ride.
Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of The Supernaturals. Hopefully you guys are, you know, not too afraid of clowns. And if you are, then, you know, hopefully that's a good thing.
And maybe us talking about it has made you want to watch some of the things that we like.
Hell House, Terrifier. Obviously, everybody's probably seen Joker. Joker 2 is coming out, so that'll be fun. Yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We have been the Supernaturals, and we will see you around the graveyard.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this chilling episode of The Supernaturals. For your protection, make sure to like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. And stay tuned for the next episode.